Hey, good morning, all saints. I hope you guys are doing well. I have had several people ask me to explain the preceding days as we approach Palm Sunday and Holy Week. So we thought it would be appropriate in this newsletter vlog to explain that. And our best explainer on staff by far is Erin Waller-Roy. So Erin and I are going to explain it, really accent on Erin rather than me. But Erin, how has your day gone so far?
It's been a good one. It's been a good one, Dustin. I can't believe we're almost at Holy Week.
I
It's around the
know.
corner.
It's so surprising. So let's talk about everything around the corner, starting with Palm Sunday. So we're going to genuinely explain what happens. So let's start with being in the car. You turn on Hervé Sunday morning, Palm Sunday, and then what?
Okay, so you might see some traffic cones outside the All Saints parking lot on Hervé. That's the street that we share with City Lab High School. Don't let those cones deter you. You can still park in the parking lot. So despite the fact that those two lanes are sort of blocked off by the cones for some work coming in the next few months, you can still turn in there. You might find that the lot is full. Holy Week is a busy time of year for an Anglican church. So I would say while you can pull in and park in our lot as normal, um, if you are able to avail yourself of the parking lot across Cadiz from us, or we have spots available. So if you don't have kids in tow and you don't have mobility issues, we would love to encourage you to park over there.
Absolutely. So, and they're in the car, and I should have started with what time are they in the car? What time should folks get to services?
It is it is helpful to get here a little bit early for Holy Week services just because of parking lot congestion and the fact that these services are a little different from normal. So particularly this Sunday, Palm Sunday, we'll begin our service actually in the parking lot, just outside the front doors of the church, where we'll process with palms around the little tree island in our parking lot before we go into church. That's where the palm part comes in. Everyone will have a palm frond and we'll be singing in procession behind the cross as we enter the church. So come a few minutes early, particularly if you have kids. If you got little saints, you check in on the first floor, then it's a lot easier if you just check them in before the procession so that you can come in straight into the church. And there won't be an obvious, there's a couple different points where people often might leave to check little saints into the service before the sermon, but the structure of Palm Sunday is that we'll do that procession, come back in, hear a children's ensemble, which you should be excited about for this Sunday. And then our extended passion narrative and a very short, I hear from you, homily, Dustin. And so there isn't really a great time to slip out after you come in. So we'd encourage you, especially if you have little kids, to come a few minutes early, just go ahead and check them in and then come back out to the parking lot for the procession.
Yeah, I didn't love the tone with the short homily there, but other than that, that was a really good answer. And I'm going to do you what you could get there a few minutes early. I'm going to do you one better. You could get there an hour or two early if you usually come to the 9:30 or 11 o'clock service. The next 2 weeks, Palm Sunday and Easter, as Aaron said, are going to be very, very full. Sundays, especially at 9:30 and then 11 too. But particularly if you come to the 9:30 service and you're able to get up early on Easter, particularly, it's so fun to have brunch or lunch after the service anyways. So coming to the 8 a.m. would both help your neighbor and fellow church members who are trying to get a spot at 9:30 and 11, and it might be good for you and your family schedule. Also, all those services will be identical. So if you've never visited the 8 a.m. service, the next 2 weeks would be a great time to start that. If you need a wake-up call, I'm happy to call you Sunday morning. I get the donuts pretty early, so I can make a lot of calls as I'm driving into church on those days. So people come, they drive in, they get here at 8, 9:30 or 11, and then they meet outside at Palm Sunday, and we'll wave palm branches around. Such a fun, it's not my favorite service of the year. We'll get there. But it's such a just joyful, wonderful, and lamentful at times too, but service on Palm Sunday. The next time we gather on Holy Week is what day?
So you're always welcome to join us for our Wednesday noonday service, but the next kind of official Holy Week service will be Monday, Thursday. That's at 6:30 here at the church, and that's a foot washing service. So we commemorate Jesus's Last Supper with his disciples, in which he washed their feet. And I'd say actually that's one of my favorite services of the
Mm.
year. It's particularly beautiful. If you want to involve your family, but just the love and care and forgiveness and reconciliation um, modeled by Jesus that we then get to participate in and washing the feet of family members, church members who are with us. So that's a really powerful service. That'll be here at the church at 6:30. And then can I march us through on from there, Dustin?
Please do, Philip. I was gonna say, if you're insecure, embarrassed about your feet, Philip washed my feet last year, and this is the words he spoke to me after washing my feet. Your feet are grosser than mine. So I promise you, no matter how insecure you are about your feet and them being touched, you cannot be more insecure than I am, and I have to do it. And it actually is like some people are kind of insecure about it. If you don't want to get your feet washed, that's fine. You can just sit, no one will bother you. But you ought not be insecure, and I am the leading example. So march us through Friday, Saturday, and then we'll have another newsletter before Easter Sunday.
Absolutely. So the next day is Good Friday, and we'll have a noonday service, obviously, noon being um, the hour of Christ's crucifixion, in which we'll do the Stations of the Cross, which you may have seen up around the sanctuary. We have some artwork. And that's a beautiful service with guided reflections, meditating on each station, and our own participation in Christ's crucifixion and his suffering on our behalf. Some of the most beautiful music you'll hear all year, and a real opportunity to respond as we kind of pin on the wooden cross that we'll have there things that we're particularly repenting for and asking for Christ's mercy over as we come into Good Friday this year. That service lasts from 12 to 2, and you are welcome to come for part of it on your lunch break to bring kids. We would love to have you participate in that. Then the next day is Holy Saturday. That service is at 8 p.m. here at the church. 8 p.m. means we begin in darkness, and that's another begin outside service where we will enter from the outside and see the sanctuary start in darkness, but we'll bring kind of the uh, fire and light in, and then see the sanctuary get brighter over the course of the service as we walk through salvation history to this moment. And it really becomes Easter
Mhm.
during Easter Vigil. So that's a beautiful service. And if you want to attend, I should say, any of those services, but want to have your kids at home with a sitter, we have childcare reimbursement for that. Or you can keep them up late and bring them with you. So we'd love to have that.
Absolutely. Saturday is my favorite service of the year. It kind of has Christmas Eve vibes with accompanying fire. Friday, the lights are also off. What's really cool about Thursday is we strip the altar. All the
Hmm.
lights go out. Friday's in darkness. I mean, it's sunshine out, so it doesn't feel as dark. And then Saturday, there's fire outside, and then the lights gradually come on throughout salvation history, and then the gospel's read, and there's beaming bright light, and it's such a embodied cool liturgical way to mark the good news of the resurrection. So we hope you're able to join us for some or all of those services that by we I mean Erin, just explained so well. If you have any questions about the services, or just if you need any kind of pastoral care or help, feel free to email either Erin or myself, or another clergy member, and we are always happy to talk with you. I look forward to seeing you this coming Sunday for Palm Sunday. Go in peace.